Welcome to Unscripted. Today I am at South by Southwest with my amazing crew. Chris, Tim, Craig. I almost forgot your name.
Yeah, I know. It's the shirt. It threw you off.
You know,
I understand.
100%.
It is
everyone
this is unscripted, so it's weird things are going to happen. So anyway, why don't you introduce yourself? Because I don't know. I mean, we know who you are, and your audience does, but the rest of the audience doesn't know. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Chris.
Hi, my name's Chris Neto. I am the head of emerging markets for Midwich, but here I am just Nathan's friend.
And just Chris.
Just Chris. Yeah, that's the role I'm playing today.
Awesome. Tim?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm just Tim. I'll steal that. I'm Tim Albright from AVNation. I run AVNation in audiovisual publication that covers the industry.
Awesome. Thank you. And Craig?
My name is Craig Durr. I work as an industry analyst. The company is called the Collab Collective. I like to try and help drive some insights and revelations about what's taking place in the workplace, modern workplace.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we obviously know each other really well, and we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. Yep. The first question I want to ask, though, I'm curious as to how you feel about this question. This is not an industry. Well, this is actually an industry question. So I'll start with you, since you're looking really scared right now. GIF or GIF?
Is a graphical, so it is GIF.
Okay.
I'll go with GIF.
Okay.
Bob. Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the weird part about this. We talk like practically every day, right?
Yeah.
Over WhatsApp, and we have also other people in our crew. But we typically, if we do a video together, it's just like you and me, Tim, or you and me, Chris, and we're never like together. So I'm actually surprised with all the events that we go, worldwide. I'm actually kind of shocked that it hasn't happened yet. So this is our first video together. Right, so
there's a key.
Oh yeah. So why?
None of us have a booth.
That is accurate.
This is true.
So without having a booth or having a outside of us being attendees.
Yeah.
And a schedule that looks like this, right?
That's how you get it.
We're seeing each other in hallways
And
passing.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of hallways, we were just at ISE. That seems like a year ago, but it was a month or something ago, right?
Yeah.
And ISE is obviously huge over broadcast and AV and collab. I guess, I'm curious as to your perspective, one or two things that you were like, okay, this is surprising. This is going to be the future. I'll start with you. What do you, I mean, you obviously there are multiple days just like we were.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I think that's a cool thing to talk about, though. And I'm going to lean into something else. I had a chance to talk to Mike Blackman. He's the managing director of ISE.
Yeah.
And I asked him a similar question. I'm like, is this a mirror of the industry, or is this where the industry is going? And he said, which I believe, in the last couple of years, especially as it moved to Barcelona, it's been more of a future cast of where the industry is going. So I think there is that a little bit of that, because I think what happens is you see technology, you guys really get into it, and there's probably technology that doesn't go mainstream, but I think it creates ideas and implementations and thought processes. So I like to think that it's a little bit leaning into where we can go and kind of fueling the fire to think about it.
Part of that is ISE has become the launching platform for new products.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was either CEDIA or InfoComm. That was where the majority of new product announcements happened. Today, that's ISE, right? That has overtaken both of those shows as the launching platform for a couple different reasons. Number one, they're more attended. Number two, of where it happens in the calendar, right? You have a show the end of January, 1st of February, and you have the entire rest of the calendar year when it comes to purchasing decisions, right? Yeah. InfoComm and CEDIA are still very, very, very important. NAB as well is in there, but they fall later in the calendar year. Right. So manufacturers have shifted their product strategy, their launching strategy to focus more on ISE.
Awesome. Yeah. You still haven't told me what favorite product, but we'll get to that. So Chris, what are your thoughts?
Agreed with the whole conversation. And I'm not going to go into product. I'm going to kind of go with what they said. We have been operating since I entered this industry in a global industry, but we have been deniers of that because we've always lived in our bubble.
Sure.
The US is one thing and the outside is another.
Yeah.
And there's always been hard lines you couldn't go, right? Because you can't go to Spain and you can't talk there because it's different. You can't go to Amsterdam because it's different. I think that those lines have blurred.
Yeah.
And ISE is a great example of that, because I've never seen so many Americans, Canadians from this side of the pond that will typically wait. And this year is InfoComm Vegas. A lot of people like Vegas. a lot of Canadians on the West Coast would have come down to the InfoComm Vegas.
Right.
You're now seeing that migration going over there. And I think it's timing, right? Beginning of the year, come out the gate. This year, me and Tim were both at CES. We got to see the consumer side, the excitement there, then take it over a couple, 3 weeks later, we're in Barcelona, seeing that. I think the energy is building. And I think that, what we went through in 2020 to where we are today, 6 years later, is that I think that we as individuals, not companies, because companies have always kind of looked at the big corporate global space. I think we as individuals are starting to embrace the fact that this is a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And ISE feels right. It's you can do all the data and analytics and run the metrics and who's, where you're getting more views from a show perspective.
Yeah.
I think that inside my gut feeling, that show became the show this year.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Officially became the show. It was always a mixed kind of InfoComm. ISE stood out this year.
It was 100 plus countries is what I heard.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
92,000 people, close to, it was like 1,400 different vendors across 8-9 different technology halls.
I've never had so many meetings as I did this year on my booth, because we run in a hospitality booth.
Oh yeah.
So to go back to the technology question, we're running a hospitality booth because one of the things that you want to do, at least for us as Midwich, we're there to meet with our customers.
No.
The technology is all around us. I don't need to have it in our booth to sit down and have conversations with global companies. And I wasn't just having meetings with people from the US.
Yeah.
We've broken those walls and those boundaries down. So it was a really good show from that perspective. And we will get to the technology.
Yeah.
Did we avoid your question?
You avoided my question.
I will
classically.
help you here.
Well, hang on. So I was just going to say, it kind of makes sense because we're all, basically in our booths. I know you actually walked around. You guys did too. I didn't get to walk around. The only walking around I did was with him, and he took me all the way to Hall 7 or Hall 8.
Hall 8.
Hall 8.
Yes.
Almost to Madrid.
Almost Madrid.
I did definitely walk with him too.
He must have
Weird.
been doing it with all of us.
That's the only place Tim
on the
went.
moving walkway. I think I saw you guys.
And then he showed me some amazing speakers. I don't remember the name yet. Theory, that's right. And they were amazing. It's nothing that I could ever afford. No, but they were amazing. Yeah. So that was great. And I was actually, for me, it's just I like exploring, but if I'm by myself, I just don't want to do it. Yeah. I'm just one of those, I don't set the bar by myself as an example. I just don't like being by myself. So I don't explore. But the fact that we walked through all those halls and you're seeing the stuff they use on stages and lights and the sandbags that go up and down and the pulley systems. And I'm like, this is a full on broadcast AV theater show. So pause, put the pin on. Actually, you want to tell me something cool. So tell me what you saw.
The overarching technology I took out of that show was software.
Oh,
and here's what makes that remarkable. For somebody who has attended InfoComms and ISEs for over 20 years, those shows and AV shows in general have always been about the generic term is the black boxes that make our system works, right? Makes our industry go. And I've watched this over the last, let's say 5 or 6 years where, this company has this software. This show felt like a software focused show, a software forward show. Nearly every booth you went into, here's our device. By the way, here's the software that makes it run.
Yes.
Here's the software that you can monitor. Here's the software X, Y, and Z. And I think AV is finally getting around to, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We might be part of IT. So
I agree with you. I agree.
Let's have a software package.
Part of IT.
I wrote about that and I agree with you. And if I'll even dig into two things. So I think every device that came off, so I spent a lot of time on the UC devices that came out. If they didn't have a cloud management story, people just kept walking by. So the first thing was that software. The second thing I also thought was actually hitting the ground with some practical movement was AI. But what's what I was calling operational AI. It was helping IT administrators, AV administrators on the back end a little bit. So I know it's leading edge on that, and we've been doing a lot of in-room AI, cameras movement, audio movement, and that's still moving forward. But I started seeing what I really liked was companies that were bringing out AI helping IT on the back end, automatic troubleshooting, resolution issues, identifying. Companies like Excite, NetSpeak, Utology was there, things like that. And call it boring parts of it sometimes, but it was bringing some really great stuff that frees up people to they can go do some other bigger, better things.
Well,
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to mention this. Nice freaking shirt. I mean, I don't know how we haven't said anything about it yet.
I gotta let you know, it does have batteries, but no, I won't know.
You didn't have to mention the stupid shirt. You should have just ignored it the entire time.
You could have run a lower third for the shirt itself.
Exactly. the fact that he wore the shirt on purpose.
We are in Texas. Come on.
We are in Texas.
When you run the credits, make sure you credit the shirt.
Absolutely.
I was expecting boots, but there are no boots. So
No.
Yeah. But at least Neto got me set up with some decent shoes here. So, you know.
We're getting there.
Right.
He is good at that.
Are you guys going shoe shopping this weekend too?
I don't know if we are or not.
I don't do boots.
I
do boots, but not cowboy boots.
They do sell normal shoes.
Rhinestone cowboy, baby.
Yeah.
That's about it. But wait, what technology worked for you?
I'm constantly looking at the trend part of it. So not one piece, I guess, that looks at it. I did see all the cloud platforms. That's awesome, which opens up a whole discussion about single plane viewing. Like, where are we going with this? Because what the fear that I have is every company that has a cloud management system, like, how are they all going to work? Because you're
100%.
asking a lot. One of the things that, as a distributor, we don't look at, but we do internally, is that we deliver products, we deliver solutions, right?
Yeah.
Who is the buyer? Tim SCTI is a customer. Should I stop there? No. We are selling a product to Tim, who then has to take that product and sell it to the end user. So the end user is still our customer.
Right.
And where's that single pane? So hearing about all these single pane window to look into, you give somebody 5 different pieces of gear with 5 different pieces of technology software to look at, it's going to create another issue.
Yeah, and
so this is where my head is constantly, great, we've gotten to the software part. Now what?
Yeah.
Because we are very good as an industry to find solutions to the immediate problem. Take it 2 steps ahead. Where are we gonna go with this?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna create the other problem. Yeah, we're solving IT. It's funny because IT for me, and I've always had this discussion with Tim on his AV Week shows and stuff like that. AV and IT is the same. I've argued, where's the creativity? As somebody who came from a broadcast production, that's where I got my background in, right? Got into AV and video conferencing. It's very cut and dry. You know, A to B.
Yeah.
And there's a conduit there. That conduit is IT. That's what makes it move.
Yeah.
The transport was never fun. It was never sexy. It was never loud. It was never bright. It was never none of that.
Right.
Then we, as an industry, kind of just went down that road of we're going to be IT, and we lost our way. Like that is, we lost our identity because we all came from those backgrounds, and we just spoke about this on your show.
Yeah.
You know, we're an industry that are built on creatives. There's a side of us that are always going to yearn for, can we make it bright enough? Can we add lighting? Can we make it loud enough? Was it clear enough?
All right.
IT delivers A to B, but doesn't fix those little issues. And it's good to see. And one of the things that I've noticed in technology, Logi and a couple other brands that are out there, and multiple brands actually, are solving the cool thing. I love the fact that we're getting better aesthetics out of the product. It's not just a camera that looks like a broadcast camera. It's now the camera can hide and products, and you guys do this really well with your bar. It's not just a black bar.
Right,
It's got color. You know, you can personalize it, and brands are looking for it. Your end users are looking for it.
Right.
I'm selling products that need an identity that he can take and sell. Right? You don't just walk into a room and it's a black box or a black speaker or a speaker. It's pendant speakers. Can they be personalized to match corporate branding? Yeah. That's all part of the experience. So the UC conversation, in a very weird way, which is very commoditized in that that's how IT thinks. It comes off the shelf, we put it in, it just replicated, we could do it. But now it's getting personality, and I love that. I love that we're finally worried about how it looks in the room and that the cameras and the sound, it's all very important, but there's an aesthetic to it that we're finally starting to pay attention to.
You're going to hate it. I'm going to drop the word.
Here it comes.
I can't imagine what this is going to be.
It's experiential.
Oh, God.
It's an experiential moment here.
Yes.
It's experiential.
Dude. So 2 things that took away. I like that. That's a really good perspective. Number 1, IT has always been the setting, done. AV
replicated.
Is the space. Yeah. But because you have to scale it, right? It kind of makes sense from an IT perspective. But the AV side is different because and just how much time have we spent just setting color temperature on lights, right? There's an artistic side to it. And so it is coming together though, because we're seeing it in products.
That changed the pandemic.
Yeah.
Pandemic took us.
Yeah.
One of the things that those 3 years that Dano snapped out and then came back is that we came back with, it's got to be better. It's got to be, this is just okay.
Yeah.
And I fought the world when it came to good enough, right? The world, that conversation piece of it's good enough did very well for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
But a camera that's built into a laptop was not going to be good enough.
Right.
The Brio became a better option than your built-in camera. And then it led to the Mevos and it led to things like that.
Right.
And in the enterprise broadcast space, where now you're starting to see the blur with UC, is that, yes, Microsoft Teams, Zoom is moving the things. And it's interactive because it's UC. But now you're getting a streaming element. And that streaming element and that cinematic look that the executives want is not going to come off of a laptop.
No.
It's going to require a bit of production work in the background. And the little extra pieces of gear that you're seeing that were just relegated to NAB world is now appearing in conference rooms. Lower thirds are expected. Cinematic lighting, bokeh is a term that is now being spoken in the UC space. And I'm like, oh my God, we are going to blur out the background and put some bubbles in it? Like, wow, this is...
Well, I mean...
Why? Because CNN has shown it and Fox News has done it. It's how many times have we seen comments? I'm like, dude, if we're going to see another person on the news with those white headphones in their ears talking...
This is true.
From the fruit company, like, do we want that? Like, is that proper audio? Is that acceptable? Yeah, it's cool, and it was cool in 2020, but now, better microphone. Better audio, better everything.
We all went home, we turned on our cameras, and all of a sudden people who weren't camera people, video people were like, oh, I see how I look now. It's a up the nose shot. I don't want to have that shot right now.
Unfortunately, there's still a lot of there. There's still a lot to learn and a lot to teach.
There is. But, and then I think, Logitech as a company took creativity products and made them more accessible to everyday consumers.
It made it simple. And I think that's the other part is that people were daunting. I mean, you see these lights. These are great lights, by the way. Nice big lights.
They are. Have to make sure we get big lights.
The bigger the light, the better. But it went from no lighting to ring lighting to now you're starting to see lights in people's offices that are acceptable in home offices where it can be a little weird because it's a home office. But in my case, I have somebody who lives there that doesn't want it to look like a studio. We've seen
your pain.
We've seen your comedic turn on your living room, which becomes a studio.
It's pretty much every room in my house. My wife doesn't question it anymore. Yeah, he's been in my house. My wife doesn't question it. She's like, I know it's going to switch off.
We have company coming over at 5.
Nathan. You're going to film a video today. It's like if you were all in my house filming this right now, my kids would just walk in and walk out because they were like, whatever, it's just another video.
It's just Dad.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Dad and his toys.
So let's, somehow we got off track, but it's a good conversation.
Never.
What?
It never happens.
No.
So.
It is unscripted.
So it is unscripted. This is what happens. So InfoComm is coming up now. So I'm curious to see, are we going to see the same thing replicated from ISC at InfoComm? Because the audience is a little bit different. It's a little bit smaller, right? But what are you expecting from InfoComm? I'm excited about it. I feel like this is a long road because we're all traveling like crazy. But InfoComm is June, right?
June.
In Vegas this year?
Yeah.
Right? So what are you expecting?
I'll start. Off of what you said, there was a lot of product launches and announcements that took place at ISC. InfoComm still leveraging the US as an epicenter. It's the first time a lot of people have a chance to see these hands-on. So I still think you're going to get some good drive and attention there because there's momentum right now on what's new in market, what's taking place there. I think InfoComm with their education program does an awesome job of driving other value to people that attend there as well too.
Yeah.
So I expect InfoComm is going to, I think it's a tide that raises all boats is what I'm saying. What took place at ISC is helping InfoComm. Before, InfoComm, it's probably about a little above half of the numbers of attendance, but I think it's going to do well. So I think it's going to help them out.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening is the announcements that happened at ISC, those products will be shipping by the time
this is true.
Happens,
so people can actually buy them. Yeah.
Contrasting the two, right? You walk into somebody's stand at ISC. Oh, this is great. When can I get my hands on it? Oh, it'll be shipping at the end of first quarter. Oh, it'll be shipping by second quarter. Well, all of those conversations, those land at InfoComm.
Oh, and you actually know what else is too? You leaned into it. You talked about software. So we have hardware products at launch, and we're in a window where software updates are very viable right now.
Yes.
So I have a good chance we're going to probably see some new features come out, enhancements on those products. So I think companies will be using this as a rolling thunder opportunity to continue their message.
And what InfoComm gives them a chance to is feedback about that software.
Yeah.
Right? Because the nice thing about software is the production timeline is a little bit shorter than a piece of gear.
Yeah.
Right? And you can update feature sets. You can update abilities for it. So they can get feedback and then turn around and in 3-6 months, say, based on our feedback from InfoComm, here's our new feature.
And I like it's 6 months, something else happens, something new happens. So there's always a reason to kind of go back. One of the reasons we do it is we have customers in both continents, right? Now there are a few customers that come from the US and go to Barcelona, and a few that will come from Europe into InfoComm. But the majority of the customers are local customers. In Barcelona, it's all over Europe. It's the Middle East. They come from everywhere. So that's why it's probably a little bit bigger. It's more of a global event. In InfoComm in Vegas, it's going to be South American customers. It's going to be most of the US, Canada, Mexico. So we have to do it. We talked about this the other day. You have to go with the customers. You can't just say, I'm only going to do this. And our customers are global based. So.
Is this unscripted? Can I go off script?
It is
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Well, what about GITEX? You visited GITEX last year, and as a third Asia Pacific, Middle East area, is that rising also?
GITEX is getting bigger and bigger every year. So last year they had record number, I think 215,000 people.
Good.
And it's about as nuts as that sounds. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of navigating. It's a lot of lines to get through. But GITEX is like ISC, InfoComm, and CES put together.
Okay.
It is a consumer show. It is a B2B show. It is an everything show. I wouldn't say it's a specifically AV. There's some big players that don't go to that yet. That'll probably change. But Dubai is the central part of the entire Middle East. Everyone wants to come to Dubai. It's a beautiful city. You can, the buildings like this, everything, right? And you've got all the cultures from all over the world. So people want to come there. So you see a lot of folks from Africa, a lot of folks from Europe, a lot of folks from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they all come in. So that's become a global hub now, but that is a multi-tiered conference. So it's not just B2B, it's not just AV, it's literally everything. You'll be walking from one hall to the next and you'll see a drone flying around. It's crazy. We actually had one of our days, we filmed on a robot. We borrowed someone's robot.
Wow. And
we actually had a robot. It was his experience. The robot was coming to check out our booth. We were lifting, they put the headset on its head. Of course, we had to assist the robot. It is what it is. But for the video, it looked great. So it is a different conference, but there's a lot of those that are popping up. GITEX is in 9 countries, I think now. It's now 8 countries.
Yeah.
Well, and InfoComm is doing an event in Dubai.
I am looking forward to that. And they're actually leaning into the experience.
Yeah.
It's experiential.
It's experiential. Chris, what are you looking forward to in terms of InfoComm?
InfoComm has to take the ball and run with what ISC now has kind of started.
Yeah.
Will we get that same audience? I think that the audience that we're getting at a ISC is an audience that's there similar to you're touching on GITEX. And one of the things the theme that is common between a GITEX and an ISC is the bang for the buck.
Right.
We're unfortunately in a weird economy right now. Socioeconomic conditions are determining a lot of things right now that we as technologists or as whatever we're doing, we can all influence so much.
Yeah.
But when somebody's looking at the bottom dollar and what are you going to invest in for a show, the show that delivers most bang for the buck is going to get it. Did ISC deliver? Yes. In that you can go there, you can see massive LED walls, you can see drones, you can see digital signage, you can see UC, you can see some experiential, all in one spot. Oh, and by the way, that executive that I asked you for the system at home, who's also looking for something on the home side, you have that component, which InfoComm doesn't. So the value of the bang for the buck is, I think, going to play into this. And I think InfoComm being successful this year is really going to come down to, unfortunately, this year, it's going to become an economic issue, right? I am not an economist by any means, but if there's going to be travel and you have one show to do in the US, that's the one. If you had to make a choice, that's where things get interesting. Did you go to ISC and now you can't go to InfoComm because budgets are not allowing that? And I think that's going to be the tough thing that nobody wants to talk about right now.
Right.
Because things are changing weekly.
Oh, sure.
So
by the day. Yeah.
Pre-ISC, what's going on in the world right now, you had people that were planning on going to both. right? That ISE announcement of InfoComm going to the Middle East, very interesting. 2 weeks ago, compared to today, may have changed that. We don't know. So we're right now living in a time where budgets and the socioeconomic conditions and the world is making decisions that we don't have a say in. So I expect InfoComm to do the best with what they can in that week. Things are changing so rapidly right now. And I wish it was, wow, we're waiting for the latest technology. It's not. Everybody's going to come to the table. And one of the things that we do very well, you work for one particular brand, but people like us that don't work for everyone, you know, we get some scoop. We sign NDAs. We get some insider information. Insider information is saying that InfoComm is going to have really cool products, really cool announcements. Because they weren't able to do it in time for the other one. So that benefits InfoComm in that timing. You kind of got that. Right? And those are, and we know what our topic is here. We're obviously here with you and doing the Unscripted, but there are other brands that are coming to the table with things that they weren't able to. And unfortunately, manufacturing and announcements have to all kind of time. And the fact that you have two shows, I think companies are okay with, if we don't show it one, we're going to announce it the other. 100%. And if we're not going to announce it one, we're going to tease. And I love a good whisper suite, man. Man, do I love a good whisper suite. You know?
I feel the same. I haven't heard anyone actually say that before, but I feel your sentiment on that one. So my next couple questions I was just thinking of is like, well, not a question, but first of all, the reality is we make product at Logitech. You distribute it, you sell it to customers and integrate it, right?
And he makes comments on it.
And he makes comments on it, right? Well, it's not to diminish his value.
I talk to people afterwards and understand what they're thinking about that.
And then we don't really get that many shows that have, like, we have the value chain right here, right? Except for the customer. Although we'll say, like, you talk to customers and, you know, give them reviews, you do market, all that kind of stuff, right? Again, don't want to diminish what you do by any means.
But sure.
You have a book to write, the lowly analysts.
So given everything, I mean, we've been through everything, like pandemic, tariffs, you know, memory price increases, all this stuff. We talked about it, I think, on AVNation not too long ago. I'm curious as to what your primary customers are saying. So your customers are, without putting words into Tim's mouth, how do they feel right now?
There's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, even as a...
That's a good word for it.
That's a good word for it. There's uncertainty, right? And our job is, as a distributor, we're working with manufacturers. And we're calming those fears. You have to calm that fear down. But at the same time, we have to deliver a product. And one of the things that distribution has really morphed into, 20 years ago, distribution was, here's a catalog, order it. Tim knows who his account managers are and knows their cell phone number. And if he needs to, he will go and visit Tony in Chicago and go, Tony, where is my my goods? The distribution had to change a lot. And one of the things, there are still that mail order, you know, catalog type distribution. But what we're finding on the distribution side is that we have to make it personal. The fact that, you know, the best thing that we can do is grab a handful of brios and go deliver it, right? And it's not just a service with a smile, you know, textbook answer. It's, you have to set yourself apart. And in a world where everything is kind of like uncertain, the only certain thing is that I will show up on Friday with that gear.
That's true.
Separates us from others. And that's a big deal. The other thing is that a lot of what we have to do is kind of like diffusing, you know, the situation. Because you're getting news outlets that are dropping, you know, oh my God, there's going to be a 4-month, you know, delay on this. And we've had practice with this already before. We're prepared for it. You know, as a distributor, the best thing we could do is go work with you guys and say, we need to stock up. What are you guys seeing? What are we seeing? What's he telling me? What's his customers are really going to be driving? As much as, you know, we've made fun of Craig's making comment, but Craig's business is to understand not just where the customer is, but where they're going. And if the customer's panicking, if the customer is under stress, that's going to appear kind of in his analyst reports.
Right.
Like the ultimate thing is I have to look past Tim and who is Tim selling to, because if his customer is not going to be okay with it, I have to let him know. Like, listen, your end user is going to end up loving this product. Where do we need to be in 6 months? Do we need to bring in more of this product? I need to know, because we're doing the ordering. We're talking container loads, and we need to make sure 50 go to you.
Yeah.
Like that is the speculative, we're constantly playing that, stock orders, ordering, making sure he has it, putting some aside because their company may need it. Right. And then ultimately it's a love affair for the product, because we've been able to kind of mix and match, and it's a dating game, right? Here's 5 different cameras. Which one do you love?
Yeah.
And that becomes apparent. They start leaning towards the ones that they like and appreciate, and the ones that are easy, because ease of use has become a thing. And it's amazing to see that a customer is just not blindly saying, I'll take whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that. No. We're not at that point anymore.
Yeah.
I want this one because it's simple. I want this one because it looks good in the room. Things like that are important. We deliver that feedback to you guys. And that's the circle of life, man, when it comes to this stuff. It's wild.
So Tim, like, I think your episode was called Don't Panic.
Okay.
Right? I think so. You don't remember, do you?
I do.
You do remember, yeah. So
anytime we can reference Douglas Adams, I do remember.
So, and it was, I think, the genesis of what we were all talking about it. I think we all were aligned on that episode, which is rare. But it was kind of like, well, don't panic, but if you have a massive project, then you probably should buy right now. So is that changing now with everything going on?
What time is it?
I mean, again, listen, like that was 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago when we recorded that episode. Things have definitely escalated beyond what we thought it would, right?
It has, and in different ways, right? The episode we were talking about the memory shortage, right? And everything that happens in AV has some sort of memory, with the exception of the software we talked about earlier. But and at the time it was like, take a look at your projects and if you need 100 for this rollout, you might want to start talking to your integrator. Those shortages are different today, right? Because the Middle East is not a hotbed of chip production. It is a center, though, of energy, and that energy is used
to get the
products made, right? So all of these things kind of cascade down, and so today it would be the same answer, right? Take a look at your projects. What do you have coming down the pipeline? And if you have something that you need a large number of, then talk to your integrator and talk to the distributor and talk to the manufacturer and say, hey guys, we've got something that we need to turn on in January of 27. Here's our bill of materials. What do we need to order today?
Yeah.
Right. To physically get in our hands. Now that does a couple of things. It messes with days in inventory, which is a bummer. But you would rather have it physically on hand than not have it at all.
Right. That makes sense. How about you? What are you thinking about? Because you're talking to so many customers talking bad about us. So
I agree with everything you guys said, but I will put it in the context of this, because what an analyst does is we break it down and make it easy. Not really. So
I was going to say,
so many things in my head.
I think the key idea here is fatigue, and how do you get past that? So bear with me as I tell this story. We went through the pandemic where there was surge buying, inventories were out. Then when we had manufacturing issues on the end of the pandemic, I can't build the products fast enough. Then we come out and now we have this tariffs. All of a sudden, some people are like, I'm raising prices, I'm going to have a surcharge. And now we're at the point of memory. So COGS, cost of goods sold, going into that. So there's fatigue in this space. So I was fortunate that I got to lead a customer council. It was actually in New York City. We had 30 customers there. They were all within the Fortune 200. So these are large enterprises. They were embracing the idea that IT is driving a lot of the story around what we're doing. And what does IT want? Consistency. They want to be able to say, I want to buy it and deploy it everywhere. I want to be able to trust it. Their key phrase was, hey, love new features, but don't do it on my dime. Don't experiment on my dime. So what's the concern right now? What's I think the thing is, can I get access to products? Can I roll them out consistently? Can I have some kind of price protection? It's almost a procurement thing beyond technology.
Sure.
And then they have a chance to roll in and try in their sandbox the new features and what have you. But right now, I'm just kind of alluding to their point of view. It's like I need it consistently, and I need to be able to deploy it at scale, especially at these very large ones right now. And consistency is this, they might buy some, but they don't want to hold inventory. They want to be able to say, this is my kit for this room, this is my kit for this room. And throughout the year, it's standardized. And now they can roll this out to different places and have access to it.
I think the things we've heard, the most common ones are the ones that are buying one at a time or upgrading 2 rooms at a time. They're not really too worried. It's the ones that are opening up an office in December and they have 600 rooms they have to outfit. And they're like, am I going to have stock available to finish these rooms? Because we can't have people in the office and no technology to work, right? I don't think it's going to be that bad, but it's going to be challenging for sure. At least just every week this happens, it's going to get worse. So I think those are the folks, the real estate ones that are kind of like, hey, we have to plan in advance. We don't have much of a choice. But then there's also an opportunity cost to this as well, because if you buy it now, is it going to be outdated by the time you try to put it back in? Is your standard going to change? I think for big AV or big companies, they keep the standard for a while. It doesn't change.
Corporate refresh at this stage in the game in 2026, I've spent many years as an end user. Out of control.
Yeah.
You were forced to do a quick refresh of PCs and the devices that the employee used right in 2020. It's been 6 years. Yeah. If anybody's doing a refresh, it's in the 5-6 year mark. Right. You're in the process of doing that. Yeah. At the same time, now you're looking at refreshing the spaces that may have not gotten the update. There's a storm. Mm-hmm. And what I love about chaos is that there's an opportunity for creativity, right? Unfortunately, we don't learn when everything's calm. Yeah. We are an industry that is very reactive. Mm-hmm. So we need an incident. Yeah. And then that incident will force us to get creative.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
Pandemic was great.
And I'll give you another storm for his chaos.
Well, I got my storm too.
We got something.
With the weather.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stormtroopers. Different movie.
Different, completely.
Same shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same shirt.
Good God. Now my thought went out of my head.
Spaceballs would be the
Spaceballs.
Yes,
100%.
would be more in line.
Yeah, it totally love. Go ahead.
I'll do my storm. So I've been tracking something, and I talked to you guys about it from the UC space, thinking about room devices. It's an area that I think about. There is this new storm I'm seeing of 3 things taking place at refresh. You hit a key one. 2020 buying, a lot of panic buying around BYOD. Sure. Endpoints. People bought dumb bars and putting them in place right now. So we're like this 5-6 year of those. People are making the choice now, do I stay with that or not? Also in that space, there is this move to current Android operating systems, and there's a lot of devices that can't upgrade to this as well too. The other thing taking place is Windows 10 end of life too, and people having to kind of deal with this transition taking place right now. So in the room environment that leverages for video conferencing specifically, you've got these things driving change. And it goes back to these guys are saying, I just need to have a solution that's consistent. Yeah. Are they going to be available when I'm doing that room 2 months from now? Can I use the same management tools to manage it as well too? Things like that. That's my storm.
Well, and I remember my storm now. So you've got Chris's, mass trying to upgrade and send people home with devices, right? What they forgot about was all of the rooms and all of the conference rooms that sat unused for 3 to 5 to 6 years. So now you've got that initial refresh of, it's been 5 or 6 years since we outfitted everybody. And now you've got the return to office, which depending on what company you work for, but there is a significant return to office push. And so now you've got the refresh, and you've also got, holy cow, we have to upgrade these rooms because we haven't touched them for 5 or 6 years. And some of them were already needing to be refreshed in 2020. So you've got a massive storm of refresh coupled with return to office upgrades.
And aligning with UC platform choices you might
sprinkle in a little uncertainty and you got a recipe for chaos.
A little bit tariff, a little bit memory issues.
I don't know if everyone sees it this way, but I mean in a positive way, but I totally understand. All right.
As technology nerds, we're not throwing technology to solve problems, but they could help. Yeah. Right? And what we don't want as technology nerds is the technology to be impeding progress. And unfortunately, when you start looking at technology, when you guys did very well during the 2020 to 2023 period, was that you said, we're going to continue updating some of these products as long as we have to because our customers demand it. And your updates kept them going.
And that's why we have webcams that are some of them are 18 years old and it's still standards in most countries, right?
The fact that you guys made a stand and said, we're going to do that, there's a lot of love that comes from that, because you basically, yes, we could have been selling the cameras that have done those upgrades, but those upgrades gave them an extra 18, 24 months until they could, right? And that goes a long way to making sure, again, it's delivering a customer service experience that is above and beyond. And we've never been challenged with that before because nobody had that problem. We're going to swap out 15 cameras. We'll bring in another 15 brand new ones that are bigger, better, faster, stronger. Yeah. Because that's what we do. We take a standard engine and soup it up with a turbo, release it 6 months later as new and improved and badass. And that's what you want.
And rare is the customer that says they're going to buy the product just because it's new. More than likely, they're driven by amortization of assets that are already on site. And my accounting says I don't have budget to buy them as of yet till now. I mean, they don't get me wrong. People love the upgrades, the features and what have you. Yeah. But again, I'm coming back to a procurement element also that's driving the point in time when I can upgrade this room and drive the budgets that support them.
Yeah. Awesome. I think we're like 30 minutes longer than we should have been, but that's okay. It's been a great conversation.
Is this unscripted?
This is completely unscripted. That's why we're completely off time. Okay. Parting thoughts. I'll start with you.
You got to give me that. Yeah?
Parting thoughts.
I have no. Let's start
your prompt. Parting thoughts.
No. Under 1 minute. Okay, under 1 minute parting thoughts.
Well, first of all, if you're going to tell him to go under 1 minute right now,
I'm going to tell you all to go under 1 minute. Yeah.
From everything we talked about, it is a crazy, exciting, wonderful, fun time to be in this industry through all the chaos, because chaos creates opportunity. And I think that it's even a Chinese proverb, and that's where we're living right now. Yeah. The symbols are the same between chaos and opportunity, actually. I'm going to drop a little philosophy there.
Very nice.
I think we are at a great precipice right now where there is drivers for people to improve the experience. And I think we have technology to support that. But right now, our job is to help make it easy for people. If we can remove friction in the process, I think we're going to help people work better, live better, collaborate better.
Tim?
I'll go back to what we were talking about earlier. Don't panic, right? It is very, very easy to panic, whether you are an integrator, whether you're somebody that works in IT or in AV. Certainly, it's easy to look at the headlines and say, oh my gosh, X, Y, Z. Take a step back, work with your partners and just be very, very honest and very, very data-driven about it and go, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. How do we get there? Right? You cannot work in a bubble by yourself, right? That's not how this industry works. So lean on the folks that you've got, lean on the experts and say, okay, how do we get here, kids?
Awesome. Chris?
I think that this is going to be the next 12 to 18 months. I think it's really going to push the limits of where AV can get creative again. And I love that. I love it for our industry because if it is a product shortage, we're going to get creative. If it's a design issue, we will get creative. I think that this is going to lean in to a time where our integrators are going to get crafty. I have to get crafty with our manufacturers and work with our business management team to provide product. And ultimately, the telltale is when you go to like an InfoComm, what's the messaging coming out of each of the booths, right? I remember a couple of years ago where we had a lot of, oh my God, and people went to the show with a list of angry things that they wanted to yell at booth people for. And a lot of it was absorbing and giving you the right answer. I think we are going to go to an InfoComm and it's going to be preparing people. Listen, it's going to get rough out there. Here's a couple life vests. Let's make sure that everybody's okay. And then we're going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. Don't panic, but go with it, man, because that's where we can get super creative and that makes it fun. When we have to go back to being magicians and wizards again, dude. Let's do it. I'm excited.
I love that. That's ending on a positive note. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for coming to Austin. This is going to be a great week, and we're obviously going to see much more each other. So that's it, folks. That's another episode of Unscripted. I'm going to have info for these guys in the post. So definitely follow Chris. You do a lot on Instagram, a lot of LinkedIn. You do a lot of everything in general, but AVNation is his show that you want to follow. Craig, you're also everywhere, but also on LinkedIn, and you have so many different shows that you go, Collab Cafe, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll have all your information in the post so that anyone watching can follow you. But thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
For having us, man.
And that's it, folks. That's another show of Unscripted. Catch us next time.